Live from First Street Studios in South Tampa, Florida. It's time for another round of Last Call. Jay, you knew it's coming. Me being a Chicago guy, all the records being beat or being broken by Kareem versus LeBron at the end of the day. Who is the true GOAT? But let me finish here on this because something's on my mind. So remember, when I have my opinion, I grew up in Chicago as a young kid. So Cubs, Chicago Bulls, Chicago Blackhawks, right? Chicago staying back into soccer.
Yeah.
So, but this is what I'll say. The GOAT debate will always be there. We were fortunate to watch the Magic Bird show, the Julius Erving show, the Doctor.
Yep.
We got to watch all the in-between with Jordan and then with the LeBron and the Kobe's. So it's a hard debate. But where are you at on it?
I'm going to preface this real quick. This is by no means a knock on LeBron James. I know LeBron is one of those unpopular people, they piggyback. You don't put up the numbers and have the success he did on accident. But Jordan, 6 rings. Jordan took the sport to a different level, okay? I remember a point in time, Dan, and I'm sure you do too, where NBA championship games were preempted, right? I'm talking clinching games. The game was played at 4 o'clock and you saw it 5 hours later.
Absolutely.
And Jordan made it a cultural phenomenon. LeBron's taken it to the next level, I agree. But Jordan, he was able to do it without being on super teams. He was able to rise guys. I mean, Scottie Pippen was no joke.
No.
Dennis Rodman was no joke. But he brought guys like Bill Cartwright up. He brought guys like Charles Oakley, B.J. Armstrong. To me, the GOAT wins the titles, but he brings the others up with him. He doesn't latch on to the others.
And I think there's a lot of debate. I think the Last Call series was, I think people took it wrong. Some people and other people took it the way I took it. And it's win at all cost. Very much like Tom Brady mentality.
Absolutely.
If you think about it. So a lot of people want to go back to the Bill Russell, why isn't he in the GOAT conversation? Well, and I hate to say this because I'm not being rude at taking any, I think it was 11 rings, right?
Right.
But what people need to understand about that is it wasn't prime time then. Everybody doesn't understand. All those games back then were filmed, like you said, 8, 9, 10, 12 in the morning. And then they played them in the evening because it was just TV before cable.
Right.
WGN out there in Chicago with Steve Stone, Harry Carey, they launched the Chicago Cubs. And it just fortunately finally got a championship out of that a few years ago. Thank God I was in LA to watch one of them games. But with that being said, the whole Jordan thing was, it was just done right. If that makes sense. It was timing more than anything else. I mean, if you think about it, Spike Lee coming up, right? At that time, doing the commercials, the Air Jordan deal when Mike wanted Adidas, right? And then, hey, his mom says, go listen to this, whatever. Then the commercials, the Hanes commercials. I want to be like Mike from Gatorade. The Olympics Dream Team, the Bulls winning all those games, plus NCAA, North Carolina, the shot. It's very hard with NBA, all the MVP titles, Defensive Player of the Year, I think, 6 or 8 times.
Yeah.
It's very hard to debate how anybody could see it otherwise, other than a personal dig just to say we don't like him because LeBron opened a school or LeBron's just a better man because he didn't gamble. I mean, you hear so much like BS, just using the term. But when you look at what we saw from Julius Erving to Larry Bird Magic with the Converse commercials, nobody, and I say again, nobody moved the sport of basketball like Michael Jordan. You're ludicrous to say otherwise.
There's no dispute in my mind. And listen, when you make an article of clothing, shoes, a hot button topic, you've changed the sport, you've changed the world.
Right, because before that, only us guys who played basketball were wearing the Larry Bird Converse or the Magic.
Taylors.
Yeah, right. But then the advanced Converse, remember they had the colors like the leather, right? And then, there was a couple shoe deals out there like Larry Johnson with the Reebok pump or whatever, but none of that stuff stood the test of time. I will say this, my children's great-grandchildren will be wearing Michael Jordans.
Absolutely.
And that's the impact, not only his brand, but the playability, the championships, all the accolades, Olympic gold medal, NCAA championship as a freshman, hitting a winning shot. If you put all that together and then at the Bulls, leaves to go play baseball, people don't even realize he was a decent baseball player, but he wasn't no Dion or not, or Bo Jackson. But he was still trying. But those two championships in the middle are always a question mark because a lot of people don't realize when you look at the history of it, he only came and left the White Sox because they went on strike.
Right.
So with all that being said, would the Houston Rockets, would they have won? I don't know. And no one will know. Maybe split. But so we could sit there all day long. And then one more point I have. LeBron absolutely is one of the top 5 basketball players of all time.
No doubt.
And it's going to switch around from person to person. But remember, Michael Jordan didn't play in the three-point league. And Kareem did not play in the three-point league. So if you think about it, how many three-pointers, because they take them all the time in the NBA. I don't even watch the NBA. and the reason is because now it's just a three-point shot.
Right.
All day long. I mean, Steph Curry, give him all the credit in the world. Great guy. But when you sit there and you shoot 3 points your whole career all the time, well, every time you make a basket, you're getting an extra point.
Right.
So with all that being said, now people can argue, which they have with me, and they'll be like, well, Michael Jordan get fouls all the time. Yeah, but they were hard fouls. Look, Jordan, I mean, look at his points versus LeBron. If he wouldn't have left for baseball, arguably he's right there. Especially as the league now shoots so many three-pointers. It's kind of hard. It's what we were talking about history and legacy before. It's kind of hard when I think the three-point shot came around like 1974 or something like that.
5, something like that.
Maybe, right? I don't know. We have to look it up. But what was interesting about Michael Jordan's career, it was a highlight reel. Every shot he took was a highlight reel, it seemed. And now you just see three-pointers. And that's fine. That's how the game is moving in that direction. That's fine. But back then, it was like watching WGN and Michael Jordan play the Pistons, watching him play, Boston, all the big name teams. And that dude was like a razor cutting through everybody. And it was a highlight reel. You could not take your eyes off of that TV back then that had the rabbit ears on it with the tinfoil on it, and you're moving it around because it gets fuzzy just to see the show. It was the greatest thing that was ever played on wood, just like this. And people can argue it all day long, and they have good arguments to argue it if we're talking championships, because some people say, okay, Russell had 9 or 10 or 11, whatever the number is from whoever. But when you look at it, LeBron, in my eyes, okay, he shopped teams. We know that. Mm-hmm. He has 4 championships, played in 10 or 11 finals, right? But either way, it's still not he didn't move the game. I would say LeBron and Kobe are about equal. They moved the game that much.
Right.
Michael Jordan moved the game that much. And because of the media at the time, right? And the cable introduction in every household, right? Didn't have social media, but cable was that.
Right.
And then before that, you had Julius Erving moved it. And then you had, Magic and Bird moved it that much. But nobody in the NBA moved it that far.
Without Jordan moving it that far,
we wouldn't be where we're at now.
We don't got LeBron. We don't get Steph Curry. We don't get, God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, because they all wanted to be like him.
Bingo.
And then the other thing that's so interesting about it, it's now the number 2 sport viewed in America.
Yeah.
So that is the Michael Jordan effect. And I hate to say it, so I will call him the GOAT. But there's other people can have arguments, but you got to bring something to the table with a valid argument. Because I look at it from all holistically, what has he done? And he's excelled at the NCAA level. He excelled in the NBA and the Olympics, right? So you look at it, and 6 championships with tons of other hardware. It's very hard to debate.
So, question to you, last callers. Tell us why you think LeBron's better, if you do. Tell us why you think Jordan's better, if you do. Leave it in that little comment section.
Yeah, or even Kobe. Just plug it in there. We'll reply.
Anybody. If you think Wilt's the best, tell us. Who do you think is the best of all time? Let us know.
All right. That's good. Okay, thank you, guys.